So let's review really quickly the idea of succession. Remember, ecological succession is just a process that anything undergoes in an ecosystem. It's just a series of events in order trying to get to the best ecosystem possible, the most biodiverse. So remember, for primary succession, the first thing you always start with is just bare rock. Nothing there. So something that could cause a thing like this would be a volcano, because once that lava and magma dry, you're going to have nothing but straight up rock. Another disaster that could cause primary succession is humans paving stuff. So like this rock that was probably poured to build this creek, this was probably man-made. So with primary succession, the first pioneer species you're going to have would be a moss like this, or some lichens, which I will put a picture up of the lichens. Moss and lichens break down the rock and start to turn it into soil so that the next things can take root. And you can see a little bit of soil right here. Secondary succession after that is going to begin with soil or dirt. So secondary succession could be begun with something like a forest fire or a flood or a tornado, something that's going to rip up most of the plants but leave some soil behind. So once you have some soil, the first thing, the pioneer species for secondary succession are going to be grasses first. And then you're also going to have some things called annual plants. Annual, think about like your annual yearbook. They come out yearly. So it's a plant that grows once a year. Some annual plants can be little shrubs and bushes. One that you guys know a lot about, hopefully, are bluebonnets. Those would be the Texas state flower. Did you know that the reason a bluebonnet is the state flower is because if you look at it from straight above and you look down, it's a star shape on top. So remember, with succession, you're trying to get to the most biodiverse community possible. If there's more biodiversity, you've got things like these birds you hear, you've got squirrels running around, you've got more and more creatures, because remember, the more biodiverse, the more complicated your ecosystem, the more likely it is to sustain itself. Remember, if I say sustain, you say survive. Remember, sustain just means survive. So if an ecosystem is sustainable, it can keep itself alive without other things helping it or intervening with it. So the more biodiverse your ecosystem is, the more likely it is to sustain itself. And remember, when it's gotten to the most biodiverse it can get on its own, that's called the climax community. The climax community wants to stick around as long as it possibly can, but eventually different things can disrupt it, and it's just gonna start all over again. All right, you guys, so quick review, ecological succession. It's just a series of events in order to help an ecosystem become a climax community. A climax community is the most biodiverse possible. It's got the most unique things so that it can sustain itself the best. Remember, sustain means survive. Primary succession begins with bare rock, and you're gonna start to have mosses and lichens growing to break that bare rock down into soil. After soil, secondary succession, you start to have grasses, bushes and shrubs, and small annual plants like flowers, including bluebonnets. After small shrubs and bushes, then you get to start with small trees and eventually large trees. And as all of these things grow and add themselves in, you also get more animals and more biodiversity. And that is it for today. Happy Monday, guys. Enjoy your succession questions.